iNET has sent over the successor to the Flint 2, the Flint 3, and this thing is Wi-Fi 7 capable and has 2.5 gigabit networking built in. On the rear of this device, you will find a 2.5 gigabit WAN port and quad 2.5 gigabit LAN ports. And this does also support multi-WAN, which is pretty awesome. The initial setup of the Flint 3 is an absolute breeze. I love how they immediately force you to change the default password, then set up your Wi-Fi so you don't have to use the device password printed on the bottom of the router. I also really appreciate that you can update the device immediately, and they include some notes on what exactly is being updated. Perhaps the neatest part is even after an update, you are taken back to the network guide so you don't have to worry about missing a thing. With the initial setup out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other features this router has to offer. One of the first features I wanted to show off was actually using this USB 3.0 port. This can be used for tethering as well as an LTE connection, but what I wanted to show you was actually using a external media device like this SSD or a hard drive being plugged into there and using this router as a file share. However, for some reason on macOS, that feature didn't work. Now, before you go off trying to plug in your own drive into this device, you should know that the accepted formats for your drive are NTFS and exFAT, although FAT also works as well. While I was toying around with macOS, I did try to use exFAT and FAT, but neither of them seemed to work, and both gave me the same error every time I try to copy data to the drive. It did look like data actually did make the copy. However, when I went to go play back or open it, I would always just get some corruption or just failure to open whatever file or media that I put on my SSD. Even though I can't show off the SSD feature, I can at least show you how to set up a VPN specifically with Mullvad VPN. It's so simple, anyone can do this if you already have an account with Mullvad like I do. Before I show you how to set up Mullvad, I did want to show you that I am being shown as being in Huntsville, Alabama. Although I haven't shared my location specifically, it still knows that I'm in the right city. So if we go back over to iNET and we look for VPN and then we click on VPN dashboard, we have a few options to set up what type of VPN client or server that we want. In this case, we want to set up a WireGuard client, and we're going to select Mullvad. The reason why we're using a WireGuard client is so that way all traffic that passes through our router will go to our VPN of choice. Now, I already know my account number here, so I'm just going to input that. And of course, it's blurred out for my safety. And then all we're going to do is just look for a country or region. It doesn't really matter where. I guess for fun, we will just choose France. Click apply. And that's going to show a bunch of different places for us to choose from. Let's just go with Bordeaux. We'll hit start here. And you can see we have a bunch of green notifications showing that we are connected. It looks like that actually flashed for a brief moment. It does say we are connected though. So let's go back over to Apple Maps, give it the old refresh. Apple trying to make me look bad by caching my actual location data. So you almost got away with it, Apple. You almost got away with it. But I was able to prove with a superior mapping system that, in fact, I was somewhere else. Let's use something less smart and go to Bing and give it the old maps. And there we go. Now we're actually showing up in Bordeaux, France, or near there, somewhere around there. So that's obviously working, and that was like pretty simple. And now all of our traffic is actually going through the router, and we're showing up in France. So pretty simple. We are not going to go into great detail about every single one of these options, but just to highlight some things, if we go to the overview page, you can get a nice little dashboard that shows you your CPU average load, memory, and other interesting, like, I guess, metrics about the device. See, it does include an ARM v8 processor, revision 4. You can see that we are using OpenWRT, and this is probably what makes this router so awesome from out of the box. And speaking of which, so we have an upgrade option, so you can either update your firmware online by going through this, or you can do it locally if you are running this offline for some reason. So that's kind of neat. We have some scheduled tasks here. We can turn the LED display schedule on and off on a schedule. That's pretty cool. Schedule reboots for some reason. Well, actually not for some reason. It's cool that you have this feature, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe some people would set it up to reboot every now and again. Some MLO stuff, some more scheduling for Wi-Fi. Very cool. We have our time zone settings. There's some logging, pretty basic stuff in here, but at least it's included. Let's see, we have some security settings to change our passwords. Some of the access control, that's things like SSH. That's pretty cool. You can turn that off. Very simple, very easy to use. Reset the firmware. This was reset it back to factory defaults. And there's some more advanced settings. We're not going to go through the advanced settings. That will have to be for a different video, or someone else can handle that on their channel. Of course, back at the top, we have some options to get your cloud connected to this or connect this to the cloud, either way. So you can access that there. We're not going to cover that as well. I already showed the VPNs. As far as applications go, there are plugins that you can download or install, things like Nmap, which would be pretty cool. So that's what's great about having OpenWRT. You can really add whatever packages are available. You have dynamic DNS. We already showed you, or I already showed you the network storage. This part failed for me. We have AdGuard at home. This is pretty neat. So if you're into or need the options to block ads network wide, you can look into this as well. And then we have parental controls as well. I believe Bark you have to pay for, or maybe there's some sort of subscription there. I'm not 100% sure. And then of course there's some other options. Again, we're not going to get into that. And then we have 0 tier as well, and Tailscale as well. For testing, I went ahead and set up the Flint 3 to be as centrally located in my house as I could, and I tried to set it up in a typical setup that would mimic someone in real life. To paint a better picture of how I'm actually testing the Wi-Fi, here's the floor plan of my house, where I put the Flint 3 in my living room next to the TV. I then went around to each room of my house and then did speed tests in each room, averaging the results together, and finally presenting you the results that you are about to see. Normally when testing Wi-Fi, I would test the 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz individually, but because this is a Wi-Fi 7 capable router, I decided to skip all that and only focus on the 6 gigahertz band. So for the first test results that you see, this is for 6 gigahertz only with 2.4 and 5 gigahertz turned off. So that way it's not creating any sort of interference, and my phone wasn't actually trying to connect to those devices accidentally. For the next test, I wanted to test out MLO. So I thought it'd be important to go ahead and turn the 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz band all on at the same time, and then walk around the entire house repeating all of the same tests, but this time with MLO enabled. The last thing I will leave you with are the main readings, energy tracking, and cost calculations. The Flint 3 really brings the heat. It has great bandwidth capability over Wi-Fi and over Ethernet. It's packed full of features that most people probably won't even touch or even think about using, but for the power users out there, I think that you could take advantage of many of these features and will be very happy with a lot of those. And this is a great home router to have in your home, and honestly, I would love to have it in mine as well, but I kind of already have all this other stuff, but that's besides the point. So with all that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.